the biggest entrepreneur platform on the planet. This is Business Rockstars.
This is Business Rockstars, and my guests today are Dr. Sherry Ross, OBGYN, women's health expert, author, and entrepreneur, and Molly Argue, co-founder of Urja. Molly and Dr. Sherry Ross, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having us.
So I want to start just really quick a question for Molly. Molly, for those who do not know what Urja is, tell us a little bit about the company.
So Urja is healthy, holistic skincare for the face, body, and beyond. We're really rooted in natural ingredients, yet we're still centered in science. So we really focus on skin stress, which coming out of 2020, I think is something that everybody can relate to. And what that means really is we're focusing on inflammation in the skin, which can be seen in everything from fine lines and wrinkles to blemishes, outbreaks, and even skin irritation.
I love it. And Dr. Sherry Ross, you are my personal doctor, you're Molly's doctor, you're a two-time author, health expert. You've been a passionate advocate for women for over 25 years. And you're also the co-host of Lady Parts on the Ellen DeGeneres Digital Network. I want to start by asking a simple question. What are the differences between being a doctor in a medical practice versus an entrepreneur?
Well, it's a great question. And, both have their set of challenges. Going to medical school, it's sort of this track that we all follow. It's a lot of schooling. You're constantly needing to stay in the know of the latest because we're dedicated to our patients of giving them the best care. And so it ultimately led me. I never really thought about being an entrepreneur until I realized as a doctor, there were so many things missing for women, things that could make their quality of life better. And doctors don't tend to think outside the box, but I guess being a gynecologist, I can't think outside the box. Being an entrepreneur is hard. It's almost harder because there's no book really to read. It's a lot of just emotional drive and passion and commitment. And it's been really challenging. I've learned so much. I've fallen many times down, but I'm so committed to it, and I'm so excited about it because not only do we have products that are going to make women's life better, and it makes this narrative just bigger and bolder, and so they're going to feel better. And if you feel better, it just builds our confidence. But as an entrepreneur now, it's just bringing these two worlds together. So it's so gratifying, so enjoyable.
And Molly, how did the collaboration with Dr. Sherry start? Tell me a little bit about your partnership story.
Well, it was kind of like an accidental business meeting. I like to actually view it now as a chance of fate. But as you mentioned, Dr. Sherry is my doctor, and I had been living in LA for about 10 years. And in the summer of 2020 was making the transition to leave LA and move back home full-time to Scottsdale. So as I was packing up my apartment, I had some extra Urja Beauty product and decided I should bring it to Dr. Sherry so she could try some of the goodies. And we ended up spending the majority of the appointment talking about clinical skincare and natural skincare, and the rest is kind of history. I think 3 days later, we signed an NDA and the idea of Urja Intimates was born.
I love it. And for those who are not aware, since this is a brand new line, what is the Urja Intimates line with Dr. Sherry? And I really kind of want to do a deep dive on the ingredients here.
Well, I'll just preface this by saying over the years, many years I've been a gynecologist, I've told women, if we took care of our vulva and vagina with the same dedication as we do our face, with cleansing and hydrating and moisturizing, they're both right, very temperamental areas of our body, we would have a lot less medical problems, itching, irritation, infection, pimples that you can get on your vulva, and really dryness, and which ultimately all leads to premature aging. So I have always talked about extra virgin coconut oil, hyaluronic acid, just basic things. And, that fateful day, as Molly said, I always say my greatest conversations are when a woman's legs are up in stirrups. And that's, she was telling me what was in her Urja Beauty line, and the rest is history in that way. But that was the basis of Urja Beauty intimate line. And of course, Molly can speak to some of the other ingredients that she and Liz had curated.
Well, and it's been such an exciting project to kind of take the foundation of Urja Beauty and then extend into intimates products, which if you had told us when we first launched Beauty a few months prior that it's what we would be doing, we probably wouldn't have believed you. But it's been such an exciting opportunity and so much fun to work with Dr. Sherry. And this first launch has 3 products. We've launched with pH Balanced Personal Wash, which is essentially a luxury pH friendly body wash. And then we have our moisturizing silky serum, which is like above and beyond. It's more like a super serum. It helps with everything from razor burn, ingrown hairs, irritation bumps, post-laser hyperpigmentation. It helps with brightening and firming tone and texture of the skin in your intimate areas. But in some of the first reviews of the product, men are loving it on their chest for chest hair and ingrown hairs on their chest. And I even have a few girlfriends who have loved using it on their armpits for razor burn under the arms. Yeah, it's amazing. And then our last product, last but not least, is our Intense Hydrating Lube, which is OBGYN approved, and people seem to be very excited about.
I know so excited.
It's so true, because these are, CBD is really an exciting ingredient that we don't think about enough as being anti-inflammatory, and sort of very skin friendly. And so it's been used for, certainly all our products, but also as a lubricant, with extra virgin coconut oil, of course, hyaluronic acid. I mean, these are just great hydrators, moisturizers, and they take care of the skin, best of all.
I'm so excited to try.
And to answer your question a little bit about ingredients too, as Dr. Sherry touched on, extra virgin coconut oil, hyaluronic acid, CBD. We also have things in there like bakuchi oil, which is nature's alternative to retinol. We have probiotics, which everyone knows and loves. We have vitamin C, which is great for brightening, CBD, as Dr. Sherry mentioned. So lots of great things, not only for your lady parts, but also for skin in general.
I love it. I'm so excited to try it. As you said, creating a product and creating a line is a process. How did the development of the line start? What was the conception to actually having a physical product? Walk me through that timeline a little bit.
So the timeline was about 7 months.
Wow.
So we made this happen. We brought this to life pretty quickly.
Fast.
Yeah, really fast.
It was my shortest pregnancy.
Yeah.
Seriously. Wow. That's amazing.
That's so true, Dr. Sherry. That's so funny. But yeah, I mean, we had this idea in the meeting with in the doctor appointment with Dr. Sherry. I believe that was July of 2020. And now here we are in January with 3 products to market. So it's been a labor of love, even though not a full-term pregnancy, and so much fun.
And being in a partnership is almost like being in a relationship with someone, right? What advice do you have for entrepreneurs who are thinking of partnering or collaborating with someone who they already have a relationship with? It's kind of like a fine.
Because this is, my scope, partnerships are very small. But I will say it's, having sort of very similar goals in mind and having the same dedication, and really tenacity, to sort of have the end game is what we all want to achieve together. And sort of along that way, we are very respectful and, trustworthy as well, because it's certainly new for me. I mean, Molly and Liz at least had sort of that family connection too, but it's been really fun, and they've been so open to me as the third.
Three Musketeers.
the third founder. It's been very collaborative, and I think that's, when you have sort of these complementary strengths, everyone sort of stays in their lane, and works the hardest can in what they do best.
And I feel so lucky to work with people that I love and trust. I just think it's such an incredible experience, and communication's really huge. Trust, of course. And then, as Sherry mentioned, having the same end goal and the same overall vision just makes it really great.
I love it. What challenges did you face, if any, when you were starting the brand and your line together? Were there any production delays, or what was like the biggest challenge that you had to overcome?
Well, first, I'll note that when we launched Urja Beauty in the end of 2019, we had no idea what was in store for us in the beginning of 2020. So we paused, we pivoted, and we persisted. And summer of 2020, the idea of Urja Intimates came to be, and that was really our focus for 2020, which ended up being the biggest blessing. So I think sometimes in the challenges and in the struggles, amazing things can happen if you just allow them to be. That's definitely true in our case. And I think a lot of brands in 2020 would say one of their biggest challenges has probably been related to supply chain.
So true.
I think our biggest struggle probably was with primary packaging, specifically for the lube. When the packaging arrived, we quickly realized that it wasn't quite the right fit. So we went back to the drawing board, and we were able to pull something else together, which in the end ended up being way better. So in the moment, we were kind of freaking out, like, we want to turn this around by the end of the year, and we need to find packaging, and shipping's so crazy right now, and 2020 is a dumpster fire. What do we do? And we ended up getting to a place that was even better than what we could have imagined when we started looking for packaging. So all of the challenges have been positive with this project. So I think it feels really good.
Love it. And how did you find the right support system for this launch? And specifically, how did you kind of find your target niche with this?
So Liz Bishop, my aunt, who's the founder and CEO of Urja Beauty, she's been doing skincare for her entire career. So she's super plugged in. So our support group, as far as our lab and our chemist and our primary packaging and our outer boxes, like all of that, she knew exactly where to go and where to look for the correct support and talent to bring this project to life. And it was also really exciting because being on this journey, I've been able to tap into friends and my network of younger, more emerging talent, and find people like photographers and website support and PR to work with our team as well. So we've just been really blessed to have incredible support and talent to help us as we've launched this startup. And then the biggest bonus is Dr. Sherry and her support circle in her field.
I love that. And Dr. Sherry, women's health and sexual wellness is such a booming market. Do you have any predictions for what is kind of next in the space?
Mm-hmm. Well, I remember 3 years ago when my first book came out, we had a hard time even saying the word vagina. It was hard to really have it on mainstream airways. And now we're not only just saying it, but we're taking care of it. And so for me, it's come full circle in that way. And so I think this is just the beginning of women really realizing, like, we need to take care of our lady parts of the vulva, the vagina, and they're not really self-cleaning. I mean, it's like your home oven at home. You still maybe self-cleaning, but you still have to clean the stovetop. So I think we're really, this area of feminine hygiene is going to take off. And of course, sexual wellness too, which I think is just another area that women need to talk more about. There's so many products that we can use to enhance our sexual experience. So there's a lot of space to grow.
It's blooming. I love it. You've been entirely self-funded up to this point. As your company grows and scales, do you see yourself raising capital?
Yes, that is something we're starting to dip our toes into. We are self-funded and it's been a lot of sweat equity, but we'll see what this year has in store, and we're ready for that next step.
I love it. And Dr. Ross, you've successfully navigated life as a doctor and entrepreneur. As you said in the beginning, that an entrepreneur is a little bit harder. What would you say you're more passionate about right now?
Well, this is like Sophie's choice question.
I had to throw a tough one in there.
Yeah. I mean, I love being a doctor. It's so not a job. But it's really helped me as an entrepreneur to find products and things that don't exist. So they do work synergistically in a lot of ways. As I've spent many, many years being an OBGYN, and it's led me to being an educator, and now sort of leading me to be an entrepreneur. And it's new and exciting. So it's definitely something that I'm just wake up every day so excited to lean into. So it's just sort of my next step, my next stage, and I'm really excited about it. So, I couldn't have been an entrepreneur really if I wasn't a doctor and one that really was looking for holes that needed to be filled for women's health and wellness.
So true. Both of you, what advice do you have for aspiring female entrepreneurs and business owners who have this amazing idea like you did and want to start a business, but they don't exactly know where to start?
I would say this, if you have a dream and you have an idea and you're passionate about it, go for it. I think it's so important to partner with people that you trust, like family, mm-hmm. and that you're willing to work harder than any job that you've ever had to bring it to market. And it's really gratifying, but it's a lot of work. But I am one to say, don't ever limit yourself and follow your dreams and put the time in, because nothing is easy if you really want to be successful.
Well, Dr. Sherry nailed that.
Very well said.
Yeah, that's very well said. I think the only other thing I would add to that is, as you're bringing your idea to life and you're really thinking about what you're wanting to bring into the world, make sure that number one, there's a need for it. What makes you different? What separates you from maybe other people that are trying to do the same thing? And then work with like-minded people. Nobody can do everything. As much as in entrepreneurship, it's important to be able to wear a lot of hats. And if there's something you don't know how to do, be able to figure it out. It's equally as important to know how to delegate and how to rely on other people to bring your goal and your passion to an even better place. So finding people to work with that you trust and that bring other talents to the table is so key. And you just have to keep trying, because a no from someone isn't a no forever. It's just maybe a no in that moment. And so to keep persisting if it's something you believe in, because if you believe in it, you believe in it for a reason.
Well, Molly and Dr. Ross, thank you so much for joining me today. I know I am probably going to be a lifelong customer of Urja Intimates, especially after you have a baby. You got to freshen things up. You got to get the lube. So I'm so excited to try. And thank you so much for joining me today. And one last time, where can people find your products?
So everyone can check us out on our website, www.urjabeauty.com. And Urja is spelled URJA. UrjaBeauty.com. You can also find us at UrjaIntimates.com, where you can read all about Dr. Sherry and the partnership and learn a little bit more about the products. We're also on social media, of course. So Instagram, it's at Urja Beauty.
Perfect. Molly and Dr. Sherry Ross, thank you so much for joining me today on Business Rockstars. I can't wait to try it.